everybody. Welcome to my quick class number 20. I can't believe I've been doing this for so long. So this is my 20th quick class, and all of them can be found on my YouTube channel at Brenda Miller SU. But today's class, we're going to be making an Easter card just in time for Easter, and we're going to also talk about some things that are coming up with the new Stampin' Up catalog. So I'm Brenda Miller, and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in New Jersey, and I like to go live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time to share some things, whatever is going on. So this is a card that I did in my class a couple of weeks ago, but I and this is what happens. So anyway, that's for work too. Wasn't that great? Anyway, let's get back to this. So let's see. I have to wait for the call to go away before I can switch to my desktop again. Let's see if I can get that to go. Let's see. Go back here. Hang on just one second. This is what happens. Unfortunately. So let's see if I can get this to switch, and I will get back. Let's see. Come on. There we go. So, well, that was exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is the card that I wanted to share. And this is made with the Daffodil Daydream stamp set. And this is from actually last year's spring catalog, and then it carried over to the main catalog. So it's a versatile stamp set. It has a Mother's Day and an Easter stamp within it, but it has these beautiful daffodils. I wanted just to share, oops, it also has dies that go with it that don't seem to be in the box, but I will show you what we'll be using today. So in order to make this card, I chose some kind of bright colors, a little brighter than I normally would. And part of that is because I wanted it to match the markers I have on hand. So the markers that I'm going to be using are So Saffron and also Granny Apple Green. And you can see I had to order brand new ones. And that's because when I use my Stampin' Blends in classes, they tend to I usually can get a couple of classes out of them. You know, I have a number of people, like 20 people that use them to make their cards, and so I often have to replace them. So they just came in this afternoon, so I was very excited. So the first thing I did, I took my Granny Apple card base, and I just folded it in half, and then I took a piece of, I believe this is actually Daffodil Delight, because I had also run out of So Saffron for that class. And I embossed it using one of these classic 3D embossing folders. These are part of the online exclusive of items that are available, and it comes with 3 different folders. I think I've shared the polka dots before, and also so this is kind of a crosshatch, and the other one is a floral background, and you can purchase, they come as a package of 3, and they're all 3D embossing folders. So anyway, that's something that you can get, but I went ahead and I embossed my paper, and you can see that nice crosshatch, right? Isn't that fun? Very easy to use. So here we go. I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal to attach this to my card front, and this is probably, yep, sure enough, it's run out. Unbelievable. Oh dear. So I'm going to take my wet glue, and I'm going to put some on. I don't go crazy. I don't like to have any extra. And here we go. So that's going to go on my card front. And as I've mentioned before, wet glue is definitely the best overall if you consider everything. I hate working with it because it's wet, and I always manage to get a little that leaks out, and definitely less is more, but especially when working with something that's textured, the wet glue, the multi all-purpose glue is the best. So anyway, here we go. So we have that, and then I took a piece of this perfectly penciled DSP. One thing to note is that all the designer series paper, otherwise known as DSP, gets retired with each catalog. So we know already that this paper is going to be retired. The whole package is black and white, and it has beautiful flowers and lots of basic designs on the reverse side using black and white. So I took, this is a piece of 2x4. And just so you know, this will all be posted on my blog with all the dimensions that you can refer to later, should you need to. So I took that 2x4 and I adhered it to the card front. And again, I used the wet glue. It's going to stick really nicely because I did that. Okay, so next I took a piece of basic white paper and I die cut this rectangle. This rectangle is from the Scalloped Contours dies, and you can see here these are in the annual catalog. We don't know yet if these will carry over or not, so if you don't have them, I highly recommend getting them. I use these pretty much for classes every month, you know, especially these 3 sizes right here. They make perfect focal points for the cards. So that's how I got this pretty stitched and scalloped edged piece for my focal point. And I'm going to be adding that to my card. But first I want to go ahead and stamp. So I'm going to pull out the Easter Blessing stamp and I'm going to ink it up using my Memento ink, my Memento Black, and give it a nice couple of taps here. And because the Memento pad is linen, you can actually give it a little wiggle, and I find that that really helps get it nice and inky. And I'm going to go ahead and place that down on my card, making sure I get it right. There it is. So beautiful. Yay. We'll come back to that in just one second. So this can then be attached to the card, and I'm going to go ahead and do that using dimensionals, and I just want to do it so that it gets off of my desktop. It's just another thing that I don't have to worry about inking up. Now, one thing I do is, especially when I have something big like this, I like to use the edges of my my dimensionals, and I literally tear it with my fingers, just pull them apart. I don't measure or anything like that. You could cut them into little pieces if you wanted to with scissors, but I just put a bunch on the back, and so that's one of my little tricks that I do to save wasting my dimensionals. So here we go. So there is the basis of the card, and I'm going to put that aside. So now I'm taking a piece of basic white cardstock again, and I'm going to take the very large flower stamp, and I'm going to ink that up. And as I do with most larger stamps, I take my Memento ink pad and I ink it up upside down so that I can make sure that I get all the pieces that I want. Now, what's nice about this is that I'm going to be die cutting this out. So I just want to get it on here, get a nice image. I don't have to worry about any little extra if I happen to mark it up, which I did not, but since I'm cutting it out, it wouldn't matter anyway. So now let's take our Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to do a little bit of blending. A lot of times I don't. I find, sorry for the noise, I find that the markers to be just so forgiving, and the way that it just blends into itself just makes for, I usually just use one shade or the other, whichever matches my project better. But today I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of shading. So the recommended way to shade is to take, you'll see you have a light So Saffron and a dark So Saffron. And as you saw, they came in a 2-pack, right? You get one of each. And we're going to color in one of the flowers. And I'm coloring it in with the light. And I'm using the brush tip. And this is a main reason why I ordered more pens, and I was so happy they arrived in time for this class, because That's the first thing to go. And one thing you need to know is you do not need to press hard. I tend to find that my markers get ruined because people just instinctively want to press, and you don't need to do that. So now I'm going to take the So Saffron Dark, and I'm going to go over anywhere where there are lines. And the reason I do this is because just by virtue of the lines on the image, you end up with the proper shading. So there we have some little darker lines in there. And just to make sure that it blends really nicely, you just go back over it with the light one again. So one of the problems is that, they're alcohol inks, and so they dry quickly. So I do one flower at a time, and you want to make sure that you go and cover your pen as quickly as you can. So that's how I did the different daffodils. And actually on my original sample, you can see a little better how the shading was. This one didn't come out nearly as dark, but you can see how they're shading there. But that's what we're going for. And of course, I have one that's done through the magic of television for the the leaves and the stems. I used the light granny apple green in order to color it, and I did not do any specific shading. I could have, but I did not. So now we have that, and I die cut it out. Let me show you the die. You see that all I did was take the die and I lined it up, and voila, I sent it through my machine, and here we have the final product. This is now going to get added to the card using dimensionals again, and this I think I will use 2. You can use as many or as few as you want. Oops, I had a third one there. And we can remove that. So here we go. Okay, so here we have our Easter blessings, and as one last item, I'm taking our black and white gingham ribbon. Okay, so fun, and this too is in the main catalog and will probably be, well, potentially be retiring. Ribbon sometimes carries over. This actually did carry over from a previous catalog, but it has kind of become a staple. And I'm just going to tie a knot and then cut it. And then I'm going to add it to the stem of the cards using a glue dot. Now, one thing I want to show you really quickly, and that we did not do in class, but I think it's worth mentioning since we happen to have all these pieces out, is that we could color and make this ribbon any color that goes along with the black. So let's go ahead and we'll take a piece here. I always like to cut mine on an angle, and let's make this one green just because we'll be able to see it better. So I'm just going to take my Stampin' Blends and I'm going to just color right on the ribbon, and check it out. So now I have ribbon that has that color, and look, it even goes through to the other side. Okay, so this is the perfect way to get exactly the color you need, and just yet another great use of the Stampin' Blends. So now that we've talked about Stampin' Blends, and now we have our card for Easter, which is terrific, let's just talk about some of the things that are coming with the new catalog. So on May 4th, the 2023 to 2024 catalog goes live, and at that time we find that we will be having lots of new stamp sets, lots of new accessories, but a lot of things will be going away. And as of next week, March 29th, demonstrators are going to know, we're going to be able to see the new catalog, and so we're going to know what's going away. And also, I wanted to mention today that we have been notified that there will be price changes on a lot of the products, specifically cardstock, as well as Stampin' Blends, and that's why I wanted to make sure we talked about the Stampin' Blends. So once again, I want to encourage you that if there is something that you like, be sure to make sure that you order it soon. And also, if there's something that you use all the time, um, since things like cardstock are going up in price, they will only be at that price until the new catalog goes live. Okay, so that's just another incentive to place an order. I know I'll be stocking up on a number of things, including more Stampin' Blends, to make sure that I have them, and I have them at the current price, which is lower than what it's going to be. So, as I said, there are a number of things that will be have their prices raised, and it's just the way the economy is right now. They're not trying to price gouge us. They just need to recover the costs of their products, and I have confidence that it won't be crazy. They usually, when there are price increases, they're small, relatively small, but still they do add up, and it's a great time to get savings if you order before May 4th. And again, earlier is better because a lot of things will sell out, and once they're gone if they're retiring. Okay. So, that being said, thank you so much for joining me today and for watching me make our Easter Blessings card with the Daffodil Daydream bundle. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And know that on my blog, BrendaMillerSU.com, you'll be able to see the card and all the measurements and the supplies that went into it. And that should be posted by tomorrow, probably later today. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again. Bye-bye.